European Portuguese is so hard to understand. And here's what makes it even worse. Finding listening practice at your level feels impossible. There are a handful of beginner podcasts that feel too easy, and then everything else is for native speakers. There's nothing in between. So you're stuck trying to decipher fast-paced conversations about politics or news when you're still struggling with basic phrases. But what if you could create a 10-minute podcast about your hobby, cycling, cooking, gardening, whatever it is that you are interested in, at your exact level in perfect European Portuguese? And what if you could do it in under 5 minutes? Well, that is exactly what I'm showing you today. The exact tools and prompts my students have tested to create unlimited personalized listening practice that is appropriate for where they are in their journey. This is part 1 of a 3-part series on AI tools that I actually approve for learning European Portuguese. My name is Liz and I help English speakers who are relocating or retiring to Portugal to build their confidence and conversation skills in European Portuguese. So if you want more practical tips like this, hit the subscribe button now. So here's the traditional problem. You're either listening to oversimplified hello, how are you content, or you're completely lost trying to follow native level podcasts. The solution? Using 2 free AI tools that can work together. We can use ChatGPT or Claude to write a script, and then Notebook LM to turn it into an actual podcast. Now, what makes this different from any other AI tutorial we've ever seen? Well, I'm going to show you the exact prompts to get European Portuguese. Because here's the catch, AI definitely does default to Brazilian Portuguese a lot of the time because that's the majority of what exists online. So if you don't prompt it correctly, you'll end up practicing the wrong version of Portuguese, and that's what I'm here to help you avoid. So let me show you exactly how this works. I'm going to create a podcast about cycling in Portugal at an A2 level. First, I'm going to open up ChatGPT. Here is the exact prompt that we are going to use, and this is really important, so pay attention to every word. Write a 500-word script in European Portuguese, not Brazilian, for a podcast episode about, insert the topic, aimed at A2 level learners. Use simple present tense, common vocabulary, and the tu form. Include natural conversational phrases typical of Portugal. Make sure to use the European Portuguese pronunciation patterns and vocabulary. So I'm going to type this in and have cycling routes in Portugal as my topic. And there we go. It's now generating a script right now. Now, to save you some time, I've created a downloadable prompt template, especially optimized for European Portuguese podcasts. You just fill in your topic and your level. Comment podcast below and I will send it to you so you can create your first one in the next 5 minutes. Okay, so the script is done, but here is the critical part. We do need to verify that it's European Portuguese before we waste time with creating a whole podcast around it. So some of the things that you are going to need to look out for, I lay out in these many videos that I have about the difference between European and Brazilian Portuguese. And here we're going to focus on the grammar differences. So first we want to check for the use of the word você. Now, in European Portuguese, we will use tu instead. So look out if you see lots of você everywhere, it's likely that you're slipping into Brazilian Portuguese. Next, we want to look at pronoun placement. These are the little words like me, te, se, nós, and these should be after the verb unless it is some very specific instances. So if you see me ajuda, that is going to be Brazilian. The European Portuguese would say instead ajuda-me, and that little pronoun comes after the verb. Or maybe you saw the use of the gerund, a really big difference as well in European and Brazilian Portuguese. So if you see something with an ando or indo at the end, like tô te esperando, that's going to be Brazilian. In European Portuguese, we say estou à tua espera. Third, we are going to scan the vocabulary, so words like ônibus instead of autocarro, once again, that is going to be Brazilian. So as I say, check out these videos that I have that are going to help you spot some of the differences between the two and make sure that you're sticking to Portuguese from Portugal. So this script now looks good. I'm going to copy this entire script and put it into Notebook LM. This is completely free. It's from Google. Just make sure you update the settings and choose the output language Português, Portugal. I'm just going to create a new notebook here, paste in my script, and then click generate audio overview, and this is so crazy. It's now going to produce this really naturally sounding podcast with two people talking about the topic that I have wanted to research. So the generation takes about 2 minutes, and here is what it ends up sounding like.
Olá e bem-vindos! Hoje temos à nossa frente um guia de cicloturismo em Portugal. E sinceramente, ao início pensei que seria só uma lista de sítios, mas ao folhá-lo percebi que isto não é bem um mapa de estradas. É mais um mapa de sensações. A nossa missão vai ser descodificar estas experiências.
Perfect, so now I can download this as an MP3 and listen to it on my morning walks, while driving, and whenever I want to practice listening. So we can now make this a weekly habit. We can create new podcasts as many times as we like about different topics. Maybe it's something that you are experiencing in Portugal, a recipe you want to try, a hiking trail you've been researching, or even a festival coming up in your town. One of my students, Lynn, has used this exact method brilliantly. He was planning to walk the Camino de Santiago, so he gathered research about the Camino Português and fed it into Notebook LM. Now he has this custom Portuguese podcast about this exact hiking route, and he's genuinely excited to listen to it. He said to our community, "As the topic is of interest to me, I am much more motivated to catch what is being said. Knowing the topic helps immensely as well." And that is the power of personalized content. When you care about a topic, you're naturally more motivated to understand it. So these AI tools are improving every single day, every single week. So there's no more excuses anymore. You have to get down and do that listening practice. But here is the very important caveat: AI can't do everything. It can't correct your speaking, it can't explain cultural nuances, and it can't verify that you are pronouncing things correctly. It can now create really good practice materials, but you still need a solid foundation to actually benefit from them. You need to know if the Portuguese is correct, understand the grammar patterns, and really nail the proper pronunciation, and that is where real teachers like myself come in. Because please remember, AI can make mistakes, so I don't think I'm out of a job just yet. If you have really enjoyed this activity, but you still want to work on the foundational fundamentals of Portuguese, I do have a free 60-minute lesson for beginners that covers everything you need, from pronunciation secrets to understanding real-life Portuguese as it's spoken in the streets. It's linked below, and it is going to be the best hour you spend learning Portuguese. Next week, believe it or not, I'm going to show you how to create Portuguese pop songs that will get stuck in your head in a good way, and they will actually help you remember vocabulary and phrases without even trying. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. All you need to do is comment podcast or visit the description for that prompt template, and let me know what podcast topic you are creating, because I want to hear your ideas. If you want even more ways to practice your listening skills with resources that do already exist, check out my video on the top resources to learn Portuguese. I'm going to put that on the screen for you right now, and I will see you next week in part 2. Ciao for now.